Good morning, YouTube. We are live. We are live. We are back. Just couldn't get the stream going yesterday, so I had to push it back a couple times. Finally got it. Uh, Glad to be here. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Happy Monday. Y'all know who it is. It's Zulu Gullah. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Um, I've been watching as I always do, and you know I really want to take the time out to set some things aside. And that's why we're going to start off with the number one major threat to black people, both black men and women, uh, is the gender war. And that's why I said it's important for me to set some things aside. I've hit hard on this channel about the American culture um, and particularly the dating scene, the things that go on between men and women. I've also included all men in certain aspects, not just black men, when it comes to like how things are out of order, the natural order. Um, each group has its own specific issues, but setting things aside, just talking to black people in general, and this is not going to be like a finger pointing thing um, at other groups, but I just want to warn black people because it's very important for me to warn y'all that what you see what's going on with inflation, rising costs, pay never goes up. Um, you see how crazy government has gotten with the last, I say, 2 to 3 administrations. Um, as far as you see these people fighting like children, their behavior has become exposed. It's not professional. It's not adult like. It's also exposed a lot of agendas and the greed and the power strickenness. So by now, it seems like we should be far past like a lot of issues, being that we're in 2024. We're advancing in such a way, decades from the past, and it's just, to me, I see a regress. I don't see advancement as far as the human psyche and how we need to move forward and coexist, especially within the black community. The gender war, as I got listed, is numero uno. Um, Black men and black women can continue fighting. Y'all can continue having these different channels and platforms come up wanting to tap into who can make money off of talking about how to date, who to date, what to do, men versus women, this and that. Black people can't afford that no more. And you can never have a community or a species can never survive unless it works together. And there's been a major divide and conquer. Both sides have played their roles in it. Now, I will say this, and you can call me biased or whatever. I think the women have played more of a role than the men. That's my observation. That's the evidence that I have um, observed. The data is there, the statistics is there. But women fail to acknowledge a lot of their behaviors. Men, we know when we do wrong, we can accept it. But you're never going to get further along in life, especially the future, and know where your kind survive if the two genders don't work together and cooperate and figure things out. Um, a lot of men need to start looking at becoming independent business owners. You know, there's a lot of fields that are being untouched and untapped because black men are not pursuing them. Um, Black men are definitely not coming together, putting money together. There's a lot of money wasted in the black community between black men and black women. We just buy too much materialistic, Jonesy stuff. We waste a lot of money. I've been get to this in the past. I have been working on it diligently to get away from the stuff that I used to do in the past. If you would have known me, especially in my early 20s, not so much as my 30s, you couldn't even imagine how much money I wasted. Um, so we're fighting over who's going to control the household, who's going to control the relationship, and who's going to do what, and who's going to accept what. You know, it's both sides know right from wrong. You know that there's certain things you shouldn't do, and you know if you want certain things in life, you have to work for it, and you have to do right by it. Both sides know what to do. I think that if you don't do this, that report that came out about black people will be broke in 2030. Uh, it's going to be worse than that because there's some other things going on. I'm gonna run down the list, try to keep it in order for y'all. But y'all got to stop the gender war. And all this talk about not only just dating and marriage and who does what, and who controls what, who pays for what, and body counts and all that other stuff like that. Because I mean, body counts do matter. A hoe can't be a housewife. Um, Man or woman. Uh, you know, a male whoremonger can't be a husband. You can't have high body counts. You can't have rotations. You can't have side pieces. Um, if you're going to be poly, you're going to have a better concept of poly. This free for all concept, freak fest poly, it's not business oriented and community oriented. It's just another way to get away with running around everybody being a 304. People who are truly poly create communities, they create businesses, they put their money and their wealth together and their work ethic together. Yes, they can love and yes, they can share each other, but for the most part, they become owners. They're like a group of investors. There's a lot of concept that goes into poly that y'all take out of consideration. Don't put in consideration. Y'all don't even consider. Um, you only consider the physical aspect of it, the fairy tale aspect of it. You don't consider the kingdom building aspect of it, and that's what it's mainly for. Back to community. A kingdom is a community, right? I mean, you got to be amazed at how discombobulated the black community is right now. You got to be amazed. Um, the multiple sex partners, high body counts, extreme sex acts, and cheating. Like, it's like now, if you date somebody, have a relationship with somebody, marry somebody, it's like you're supposed to accept all that, and you're not, because that's not a stable person. That's not a disciplined person. That's not a person in their right state of mind, right? So, how is any of that going to lead to stability? And it's going to lead to somebody being of sound mind, body, and spirit. And how can anybody like that, with, with all that, be truthful, faithful, and have love? It's just not possible. And that has torn the community apart. It's just like a lack of self control. It has torn the community apart. And again, like all these platforms, all these YouTubes, they get on here and talk about dating. They get on here and talk about rosters. They get on here and talk about trying different people out. And particularly the female gender system can't handle all that. It's an overload for sure. And a lot of males too, they abuse this as well. And then they want to make the distinction men and women are different. Well, there's a lot going on that you probably need to stop saying that, because what I've told people over here, that we are a different kind of red pill. we hold everybody accountable. And women, just as much as you can complain about them, they have to do something with somebody. They have to have a partner in crime. Other men help them. So you have men that are your enemies that you need to be red pilled towards. The man is trying to sleep with somebody's woman in general, somebody's girlfriend, wife, fiance, somebody's child's mother, somebody's trying to break up a happy home. Dudes do that stuff. You got so-called red pill YouTubers who used to sleep with people's wives, but then you want to complain on women, you know. So you got to look at everything, right? Now, I'm gonna move along. I'm gonna try to make this as quick as possible because I got some things I got to do, but I really want to try to help y'all out. You know, if this doesn't go viral, oh well. We 60 subscribers here, been around for a while. The algorithm doesn't like truth, raw and uncut truth. The algorithm likes entertainment and chasing your tail like a dog. That's what the algorithm really likes. That's what YouTube really likes. That's what the masses really likes. That's what the system really likes. You know, um, messages like this are going to get suppressed, but I'm going to do it anyway, right? Number three is the lack of gender roles, the lack of cooperation between the two. Men and women, in some way, this is a truthful statement. Men and women aren't the same when it comes to certain things, capabilities, and skill sets. It is the weirdest thing to me to hear a woman say, "Well, if men can do it, so can we." I do, you know, I do not want to be like a woman. You will not never catch me ever saying women do this and I want to do this since women do. I don't want to do that. Now you may get a different community that waves a different flag, that think that a lot of people can be mixed and matched and do different things or can be considered the same. That's not my belief. But what I do know is that it takes a man and a woman to create life, make a baby naturally, and that is the nuclear family. And each has different skill sets. The man is physically stronger than the woman in most cases. Um, it is a rare coincidence for a man not to be. So being a protector, defender physically, being a hard worker physically, uh, being the first line of defense and the head in front of the household, uh, you know, is a man's job. There is nothing in nature or in any religion that says anything about a man financially, as far as 100%. That's a lie. Now, is it more custom for a man to be 100%? Yes. Nature wise, religious wise, a man doesn't have to be 100%, but a man has to take care of his family regardless and contribute um, on as many fronts as possible. A woman is a helper. So she is not there for a free ride. She is a helper. Okay. She is a nurturer, caretaker, and a mother. Um, is she able to provide somewhat? Yes. So this 100% talk, this 50-50 talk, and people fighting over who's going to do what, and these ridiculous standards and requirements that are one side, especially with women. Especially when women want everything done for them and they don't want to give nothing, and they want to be able to always leave when they want for no reason at all, or just cheat on you, but keep the security blanket intact. It's ridiculous at this point. It is showing. Inflation is showing you your hard headedness by not sticking together. You voted for the wrong people. You keep the wrong people in power. You don't never work together to form power base yourself and to hold positions of power. So this is going to continue. You know, if y'all voted the way y'all did the last election, you're going to destroy yourselves. You're literally going to destroy yourselves, and you got to get it together. Let me move on. Lack of home economics, proper diet, fitness, self-defense, and health. Home economics, again, going into gender roles. I've told many women, like, you know, I have a requirement that, like, if we ever enter into a relationship, you have to put the relationship and the household first, not your job, not social media, uh, not your feelings, not your friends. You know, when you have choices to make on a day-to-day basis, uh, when it comes to choices in work, when it comes to choices in spending money, when it comes to choices in privacy and conducting business, and when conversations and certain things come up, if it's anything that can go against your relationship and your household and your family, especially when it comes to choices and behind conversations, you're supposed to choose your household, your relationship, and your family first. That is a no-brainer. I don't know why women can't do that. Women seem to be very, very horrible at that. Men, not saying we perfect. I know men cheat. I know men do things, but I do know men care deeply for their households, family, and relationships. I ain't saying it's right when men do certain things that are unfaithful toward their spouse, but they don't want to lose what they put intact, help put intact, and they will hold on to it. Women let that shit go. And sometimes you don't even gotta do nothing. Women will let they shit go because they're bored or the streets is calling. The old boyfriends, the exes, all the different males that's in friend zones, in lines, the stuff they see on TV, women would throw that shit away. A man could be the best man he could be, and women would throw it away. So it works on both sides. Uh, Proper diet. A lot of black men are overweight. A lot of black men are going into nursing homes in their 40s. Uh, a lot of black men are having big stomachs. You just eating all this fried food, this Bojangles, the drive through after drive through. This soul food, what we call soul food, really isn't soul food. It's death food. Um, you're not walking, running, jogging, jump rope. You're not having no kind of calisthenics. You're not having weightlifting is not what people think it is. You can lift weights to a degree, but when you become massive and you can put a strain on your heart and blood pressure. You got guys like Cali Muscle and CT Fletcher that had heart conditions, and they had to change the way they thought about diet and being so massive and how it works the hard like that. Um, you know, Getting into more fruits and vegetables and juicing versus meat diets and starch and carbs. It's just crazy that we live in an age in 2024 and things are getting worse and we should be more efficient. Um, Self-defense. So many of these young dudes, especially you could just look at your typical young little rapper, man, a good gust of wind will blow them on their backs. When I grew up, you immediately had to be out in the yard, mowing lawns, weed eating, picking up trash, picking up, sticks in the lawn, stuff falls off the trees, paper. You had to help clean gutters. You had to bring groceries in the house for the women. Women didn't carry groceries in the house. Y'all, it's just these dudes. You played sports. People took pride in sports. You slap bop with your older cousins, your dad, your uncles. Like this newer generation here is not physically fit, and they drugged out. They're drugged out, and they got long hair. I don't need long hair. Uh, they run around with long hair to get snatched, to get slung like women fight, grabbing hair and shit. Y'all guys got to do better. You know, um, I just don't see it. You know, and then so many of us have gotten felonies that we can't own guns, and I have come up with alternative ways to defend myself. You know, checking the laws and what I can and can't have. I've learned I can get a muzzle loader, have that, check it off the list. The different lengths of knife legally that I can have, the different legal uh, other weapons that I can have based on measurement or otherwise, and where to properly place it and where it has to be at all times. The different, the different and various most powerful air guns versus firearms, uh, bow and arrows, crossbows. You know, just as much as I practice boxing, it's in other self defense, but it's like we're either fat or too skinny. Uh, some of us can defend ourselves, but it's so wild and emotional, not calculated that you know, in a certain situation, in an organized situation, we wouldn't stand a chance, and that's and also with us not sticking together. Um, these are things to think about, man. This stream here just needs to stick around and float. I'll probably bang on it um, on a regular basis because you can't cover it all, you know. But you can just start painting a picture of what's to come. What's coming is going to be bad if we don't stop. It's going to be bad. Um, Let me see. So, lack of group economics. Other races are taking over apartment complexes. Other races are piling up in houses. Everybody's working, everybody's paying it off in a year, and they're moving on to the next and giving one to one family. And if black people don't start doing that, it's about to be over. Uh, just as much as you got to stop the gender war, the man and woman got to come together and form a household. It's gonna get to the point to where we're gonna have to do group economics uh, from extended families and being in one household at least. If not just other different groups within the community, like two couples or something like that. It's going to get bad if y'all don't stop and start thinking about strength in numbers all the way across the board. Um, as much as y'all sleep around and share people and have side pieces and friends with benefits and rotations and have lines waiting, again, you never grasped the real concept of being poly. All you thought about what was in between your legs and faking like you have some kind of love for a bunch of different people. Um, but in reality, you're lewd and you need to stop and you need to get the bigger picture going. Let's see here. Um, r- Related again, group investing, moving along, and ownership. Like literally, I could probably go walk out this house right now, find 20 black men, and we put some money together. We can literally buy a house, fix it up, rent it out, or sell it. Um, I can go get 20 black men. We can go put some money together within the LLC and invest in the LLC. And next thing you know, we have a little franchise built up in an area that needed one. But we're so separated. We're so worried about fucking somebody else's woman. We're so worried about just somebody having the smallest thing that is meaningless. He's got a better watch than me, a chain or a better car than me, which means absolutely nothing. I have developed a policy for a long time now. I do not covet. I do not care about what another man has. I worry about me. And I sure don't want to share a woman. I'm not wanting to sleep with somebody else's woman. I don't want to be running back and forth to somebody who's running in between people. That's fucking gross. Like dudes who brag about stuff like that, man, y'all weirdos, man. Y'all really gotta wake up and understand what y'all saying. But that not being able to work with other black men, And these other companies have different groups of people that get together and they form these different investing groups, investment companies, holding companies, and stuff like that. And they fund these businesses, create these businesses. These businesses start generating the money and start giving them a kickback. And next thing you know, you got a board of directors from a simple investment LLC or holding company that has created functioning companies from the money that they put together, and the profit that everybody initially invested comes back. And then the growth takes place. Like, that is the game. But you can't get these dudes to figure things out on the level of, strength in numbers, just as much as you can't get the ideal couple together to do that. The identity crisis. Like, we're arguing over, should we call ourselves black? We're arguing over, should we call ourselves African American? We're arguing over ADOS. We're arguing over FBA, Foundational Black America. We're arguing over whether we already here or not. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you came from both points in the spectrum. Some of us were already here, some of us came on ships. And the ones that came here before the ones on the ships came from the same place anyway. It doesn't matter, right? What matters is that you're being treated different, you're under attack, and you're being infiltrated, and you've been tricked. That's what matters. So I want y'all to know that. Um, and even with religion, like whether you're Muslim, Christian, or whatever else, the origins come from Africa, and there's been a lot of cover up about your origins, and even in the religions, there's things written in them to discredit your true origins. And they've been thieving certain records that don't even go into these religions and wrote them into the religions like this original or authentic, and it's not, right? I don't know why y'all don't see what's going on and the displacement that has taken place with you and your kind. I don't know why y'all don't see it. And even when you open these religious books, you can read the passages where they condemn you for being where you're from. And they put other groups over you. But yet they took certain passages from your ancestors out of their records and made it their own and added to it. Let's keep going, man. Because y'all don't get it. Uh, Stealth racism is the most dangerous racism. That open racism we used to see our parents and elders go through in the civil rights era and before, especially definitely during slavery and Jim Crow, you have stealth racism now. The way to understand stealth racism is to understand the FBI report where it says like the KKK had infiltrated and took positions in the system, high positions, and in law enforcement as well. So you have many people who do not like you in positions of power, and they don't act it out in the open or in public. They don't wear the sheets no more. They don't come and snatch people out of their homes at night. What they do is they crucify you if you ever go before them in a courtroom, if you uh, are not voting properly, if you're not aware of your candidates, uh, all the way down to your legislators. They take these positions and they make laws with hidden codes and agendas within them, and they get away with it legally because they have figured out the stealth method. I mean, even at your job, you'll be dealing with a cold racist. Not even know it because he's going to act courteous, he's going to smile. Whole time he don't like you. He or she don't like you, you know? And whereas you could be late for work versus a person of another origin can be late for work, but yet you get singled out, that's what's going to happen. I mean, look what happened to Jonathan Majors. Jonathan Majors suffered selective prosecution. That is prohibited by the federal constitution and pretty much most state constitutions. Look that term up. Selective prosecution. The word selective in general and what it refers to. I've never seen, that's what I'm telling you, Jonathan Majors' attorney, the judge, the whole courtroom, every court official involved in that case knows about selective prosecution. Um, you got a protection clause in both federal and state constitutions. You got a protection clause, equal protection clause. It goes into that. That's where it comes from. Even I know this, but I watched the whole media fiasco, and this term was never brought up. I, how can somebody commit assault and not be prosecuted, and you prosecute the person who's defending themselves and accuse them of assault? And now, mind you, the first person was originally charged and it was not pursued, right? I would have been all over that case as an attorney, and I'm not even a licensed attorney. And all I had to do was argue equal protection of the law, selective prosecution, all day long. Let me move along, man. Corporate America dangerous. There's this thing where corporate America is really ran by a particular group. Corporate America is going to be run by a special group of white men. Um, Greedy, psychotic, narcissistic white men, racist and or selective. Uh, I've seen it over and over again. Um, it's all about who they like, which has nothing to do with the job. Somebody liking you at the job has nothing to do with what needs to be done at work. People get mad because you won't hang with them after work or drink with them or be their friends or talk about your personal business and listen to their personal business. In pretty much all job atmospheres, code of conduct, you are only required to go to work and be respectful and courteous and go home. You don't have to be anybody's friend. You don't have to tell your business. You don't have to listen to everybody else's business. You don't have to hang with people after work, and are not required to be forced to do things with coworkers after work. Now, I find if you don't do those things, people get mad and they retaliate against you and they campaign against you and they try to make your work environment hard for you because you're not in with the group. And you can outperform them. You could be a top performer. You could be the hardest worker, put the most hours in, all the way across the board, hands down. And what they will do is they will not care that you're good for operations. They only care about are you good for them personally. And they take it personal. They really do. They'll be the first ones to tell you it's business, never personal. No, it's personal. And it could be selective and it could be racist. They can have an agenda and motivations. And, for a long time now, this country has been suffering the outsourcing of cheap labor. And this is why wages haven't went up. And this is a warning to everybody. I don't care what your race is. Your wages haven't went up for the last 40 years because these corporations have outsourced for cheap labor. They don't want to go up in pay. They want to keep making more money. That's why it's important for more blacks to start investing and become owners together. It's the only way you're going to win. You can't keep working for wages that are damn near 50 years behind, and we've already went up price wise, maybe half or double uh, what should be, we should be basically 4 times the amount of what we're paying for things. That's how far behind we are. And the government knows this, and the corporation knows this. The government knows the pay scale. These corporations know the real pay scale. Both know the real pay scale from minimum wage up, from beginning job up. They know the pay scale all the way across the board. Really, a minimum wage job should be paying $20 an hour right now. And that's just an estimate. It actually may be higher than that. What you're struggling to get for a full-time job, $20 an hour, is actually minimum wage. I want you to understand that. That's what these corporations and government has done to everybody. Uh, and I'm talking to black people, but I'm telling every regular, hardworking person, man or woman, middle class person in here, you know, you have been played. And you may not want to hear it from me because I'm speaking to black people. I have an important message to black people, but I'm telling you, you've been played. And don't take offense when I say that white men run corporate America. They do. And they have done their own kind dirty, you know. So I want y'all to know that. And this is going to be related to immigration. I can actually do all these last three all together. Uh, all immigration is bad for black people. They're trying to replace you. They've already matched you in numbers. They're outpacing you with families and having children. Uh, they're incorporating people into these job environments now. They have it fixed to where now, in a lot of jobs, you are required to be able to have to be bilingual, or you have to turn over certain customer service to Spanish speaking in general, Spanish speaking in general. But yet, I've seen black customers get serviced by everyone. You know, I've seen English customers get serviced by everyone, right? But I've seen customers of other origins or other languages get set aside and pulled and are a special case. But these other groups get to talk to and make money off of everybody. Just as much as they're replacing or taking positions in jobs, and you don't know if they got over here legally or not. And then the company itself doesn't want to advance the people who helped build it from generations before, and want to replace the offspring and the children of the people who built the company, helped it get established, the original middle class. I got to think, man, this government knows this. This government is helping these corporations make a profit. These governments are attacking the middle class. These governments are uh, bringing in this cheap labor, illegal or legally. They want it brought in because the government itself has many of its officials attached to these corporations and companies making millions of dollars. They're not just making money off the taxpayers' uh, allotment to them in salary. They're not. All these housing prices, all food prices, drive through, simple drive through prices is like almost $20 now for one meal. It used to be uh, somewhere in between five, maybe $8. To even go in the realm of $8 was rare, you know. So we're paying close to 3 times the amount for simple food, and horrible food at that, poisonous food. I want y'all to understand, man. Y'all can keep fighting. Y'all can keep having panels and going back and forth for men and women, and y'all can keep lying about dating and it's really whoring. It's really an excuse to run around multiple people and wear yourself out, and waste money, time, and energy. Y'all can keep going back and forth. Y'all can keep arguing over 50-50 and 100%. You can keep arguing. And you can keep downing hardworking people, middle class people, blue collar people. And, you know, I was told whatever you make, man or woman, whatever y'all make, you bring it to the house and you throw it in the pot and you make the best decision possible with it. That's what I was told. All this old other stuff like my hair, my nails, Jordans, Rolexes, I gotta have a $500 meal when I get taken out. Y'all ridiculous. And y'all better wake up. Cause 2030 is gonna come fast. And I don't even think we're gonna make it to 2030 at the rate we going. And y'all don't see it. Um, I'm sitting here in a community, in an area that has literally about 6 churches at one intersection. Like literally, 2 main roads in an intersection. It has 6 churches, all of them black. Makes absolutely no sense. It all should be one church, all one voting base, all one investing block. But yet it's split up. 3 small churches down that street, 3 small churches up that street, one medium-sized church on the corner, one big church on the corner, another small church down that street. Makes absolutely no sense. This is your boy Zulu Gutter, man. Like, share, subscribe, comment, man. I'm gonna talk to y'all later. Uh, we'll hit back on this, man. Keep watching this. We'll hit back on this. And I'm out. Y'all have a good day. Happy Monday to you.